Hi, loves. Good morning. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the plague of spiritual fuckboys. So, unfortunately, so many of my friends, clients, myself, we've all experienced a spiritual fuckboy as we are conscious women in this space of growing ourselves, healing ourselves, returning to the practice of love. And within this community, there are many men who are taking advantage of that. And I want to talk about this because it's something that so many people are experiencing, and we've got to start looking for the signs of this and just know that it's something that's occurring. And if you're experiencing this right now, just knowing that you're not like stupid and you're not alone in this. So there's a specific group of men who are really taking advantage of spiritual lingo. This is basically just a different mask of being a con artist, of being, in many, many cases, a narcissist. But what happens in this space is that someone makes you feel safe because they understand certain things about other realms, or they understand your relationship to the sacred, to creation itself, to your spiritual lineage. And they understand how to utilize this verbiage to make themselves appear a certain way. However, this isn't something that's actually embodied in their bones. And of course, everybody's always doing the best they can. There's going to be different percentiles of how much of a spiritual fuckboy are you. But what I'm talking about is people who are utilizing lingo, ways of being, masking themselves as being safe for a woman to be with. But in reality, what's happening is they're actually just manipulating you to an extreme level by utilizing certain structures and constructs that are present and available in the spiritual community in order to worm their way into your world and manipulate you. And many times, there's a natural sort of pattern with empaths that we attract narcissists because we feel deeply. We're willing to see. This is also just something common with women, that we're like, oh, but I see their potential. But we're not looking at what is the present day situation, because that's probably going to be what it is forever. So I just wanted to bring light to this, start to become aware of, is someone actually showcasing safety to you, or do they make you feel safe? And this is a really everything with romance and relationships is a really fine line. I say that because sometimes this can be really tricky, and also narcissists and people who are good at manipulating other people are really good at presenting things in a certain way. So I also wanted to share this because another commonality of this trend that I see is that the women feel really stupid. Also, these sorts of individuals tend to go after women who are doing really well in their life. They're not, I don't want to be judgmental in how I'm wording this, but it's like women who have their shit together. They're showing up powerfully in the world. They're confident. And it's like, I'm just going to leave it there. This is the type of woman that person actually goes after a lot of the time. And it leaves a woman feeling like, wow, I am so stupid. How could I have fallen for all of that? It's because they're a master con artist. There's nothing wrong with you. They manipulated you completely. Because as powerful individuals, we don't point the finger of blame at other people, and we always see things as being a reflection of self in a healthy way. We also get to see what are the signs that I avoided here, because they're always there. What are the red flags that were like, this is magenta? People say that. What are the things that you ignored? What are the pieces of intuition or signs or guidance that you received that you didn't listen to? Or where did you make excuses? Or what was it within you that allowed you to stay in a situation where you didn't feel safe? Because everything is a reflection of us. Especially if we want to take the path of growth in life, we can utilize everything as a lesson. But I do think that it's just important to talk about, dude, this is a prevalent thing that's occurring right now in the spiritual community itself. I'll just share an example of what this might look like. So there's this large wave of people who are starting to say things like, well, commitment just really limits my freedom. And I think it's better if we just don't label things and this is the things like that they will say. And you can have whatever beliefs you want about commitment. However, when you're using that as a way to manipulate people to get a relationship, when you're not offering that, or when you're not offering deep commitment, but you're expecting that from somebody, and then you have 4 other people that you're doing the same thing with, or that is the energy of the spiritual fuckboy. Someone who is, in many cases, utilizing philosophies and teachings and like morphing and bending them to not serve the woman in the highest. And I say man and woman because in this case, I don't see this happening as much with other gender dynamics and other gender relations. If I'm wrong about that, put it in the comments, because I also just don't have as much exposure to that being a straight woman. And I want to remind you, the role of the masculine and the feminine is very straight up and clear. We can all express that differently in our unique expression. So I could be a woman showcasing very strong masculine energy, and that's fine. That's cool. I could be a man. You could be a man showcasing a lot of feminine energy, and you are actually operating more in the divine feminine archetype. That's fine too. But the feminine and masculine energies are very straight up and clear. The masculine serves the feminine, and the feminine is in devotion to the masculine. But if either of those are out of whack, the dynamic is going to be impure, and it's not going to be supportive. If you're dealing with someone like this, remember that. Don't allow, a lot of times, this archetype of a person, which could also show up in a feminine being, but I just see it 99 times more in a masculine. Don't allow them to talk their way through things that convinces you in a certain way. It's just not there. The masculine is there to provide for the goddess who is the creatrix. The masculine serves and protects and provides for her. The feminine is in devotion to the masculine, but also in devotion to creation itself. She is the creatrix. And if she's being manipulated, like the power dynamics have been so reversed over thousands of years. The power dynamics are not, in many cases, they've been so distorted that we're just like ripe for this sort of a situation to occur. We get to be honored, revered, respected, treated as a queen in the feminine energy. And unfortunately, that has not been the case for a really long time. And we have to start noticing and acknowledging where that is not occurring and where we're making excuses for the masculine to show up in a certain way with us. And it just really can't be tolerated anymore. So if you find yourself in this situation, please get out of it. Please show up for yourself, and what you truly deserve. But sometimes I get it. I've been there. Sometimes it takes time for you to actually see what's going on, especially if you're in love with this person, because we can look at things with rose-colored glasses and try to think the best of somebody a million times over. And unfortunately, not everyone operates in the same way that you probably do. So I just wanted to share that as a warning, especially if you're someone new in the spiritual community, that this is a way that I'm not all men, definitely not, but there's a little portion of people who operate in this way, and many of them, you guys, many of these people are going to be coaches, leaders. They're going to have a lot of followers, or not, but they're going to be people that you actually are looking at as a mentor. And this is the part that just for me makes my blood boil, because it's like, dude, you're putting yourself in a position where people think that they can trust you. You're showcasing yourself in this particular way, which we all do. This is Instagram, right? Or YouTube if you're watching here. Like, we all do that, but it's to an extreme where it's not the truth at all. And I see many people who are sharing certain male coaches or certain male mentors, friends who have dated them, or from me being in their containers, and I see the incredible lack of integrity, or engaging with them in other ways. And it's something that we have to be aware of and be really safe with. One thing that I always do, and I think that a lot of women do this, but probably most don't admit it. I always look at who people are following, because that's going to show you a lot about somebody, especially now it's like the trend, I only follow 12 people. And I get why people do that, but I also Anyways, when people don't follow a large amount of people, it's easy to see who they follow, and look at the type of people that they're following. Look at the type of pages that they're following and who they're commenting on and all of those things, and the pictures that are liked. If I hire a male mentor, I will do that every single time, because I want to make sure that somebody's actually in practice. And of course, that can only show you so much. But it will help to seed out the people who are just like blatantly lying. You know, for example, I've encountered this multiple times where men are preaching about don't watch porn, it lowers your life force, and, you know, practicing the sacred honoring of the feminine. And then they follow 100 strippers, and nothing against strippers, but it's like they're commenting all of these like lewd things on their pages, or they're commenting things when they're talking about the exact opposite of that. And they like think that no one is going to notice. So I'm like, hi, I'll notice, because I'm going to go look at who you follow. I'm going to look at the ways that you're showing up. I'm going to look at what people who have actual experiences with you are saying. So this isn't just occurring in a dating experience. It's also occurring in the mentorship thing. And it's really a massive breach of trust. For me, integrity is the most important thing. Like, I cannot respect people who don't have integrity, period, point blank. Because you guys know me, I'm very blunt, I'm very honest, I'm very authentic. People are not, it just like really irks me more than anything else. Integrity is probably my number one value in relationships and in people around me. So, you know, of course, to a certain extent, because we all have some sort of mask on, but making the mask as transparent as possible, because we like have to have bodysuits that we're wearing, right? At this point, we're not at the space where our souls can just fly free throughout the ethers. But how thick is the mask that you're wearing, and how can it be as thin as possible, so that you're showcasing the true you, the real you, your truth, and you're not hiding shit, or you're not pretending to be a certain way. Especially, and what I'm talking about specifically in this video is when it's done through a malicious force. There are also people who are operating with this consciousness that aren't doing it maliciously. They're starting to integrate that energy into themselves. I haven't yet seen how it's not truly embodied within. And so this isn't always going to happen of like, this person is a deliberate con artist. Sometimes it's just because somebody is learning and integrating and healing for themselves, right? So it's not always done with bad intent, but still the result can actually be the same either way. If your trust is broken by someone that you feel that has led you to believe that they are a safe person, that's really painful and traumatizing. So anyways, just wanted to share this again, so that if you're experiencing this, if you have experienced this, you don't feel alone, you don't feel stupid, and you just confirmation that like, hey, this is a prevalent thing in the community, and watch out, and tell your friends to be aware of this. And unfortunately, I see this happening most with men and women, which is just perpetuating a lot of the things we've already gone through. But it's an opportunity for us to be very clear about what we are willing to tolerate, how we want to be treated, the type of energy we want to be receiving from someone, and how we want our person to look at us, to treat us, to be with us. And a lot of times this spiritual fuckboy phenomenon will involve the twin flame dynamic. It will involve a push-pull, or if not twin flame, just like there will be a push-pull dynamic. That's actually really toxic. It's actually really unhealthy. And unfortunately, because of a lot of our early childhood traumatic experiences or things that we've experienced, we are actually like turned on by that. We're actually turned on by the chase, and it's really, really unhealthy. So a big lesson, I think, for many of us is not being attracted to unavailability, not being attracted to the like bad boy dynamic, that's what it used to be called, and embracing like we get to be treated well, feel safe, we get to be treated like queens, we get to feel that someone is committed to us without running constantly, or without manipulating us using narcissistic manipulative tactics, those sorts of things. It's going to be a little different with each person, but just keep your eye out for it. And yeah, know that you are whole and worthy and perfect, as we all are, as all humans are, as all beings are, and you deserve to be treated as such.